The graph below shows the number of inquiries to Tourist Information Office made by telephone, letter, email, and in person from January 2001 to June 2001. So it is a 6 months on January, February, March, April, May, and May, June. So this is the duration over this period, how the inquiry status varied, how many persons contacted the office in person, how many persons contacted the office by telephone, and how many persons contacted the office by email or letter. So this is what we have to see here. Now, when we have seen this thing, we have to see something else. So what is the general trend there? The general trend is that two things are going up and one thing is going down. Which are the two things going up? In-person inquiries and telephonic inquiries moving up. We have the email or letter inquiries coming down. So this is what we can see there in the preliminary part. So that's the overview. We don't have any complex overview here in this particular graph. It's a simple line graph. Now let's see what is there in the introduction. Information on how inquiries were made to a tourist information office between January and June 2011 is depicted in the given line graph. So how inquiries were made to tourist information office between this point and this point? How it is made? How they were made? That information is depicted here. The time frame is given, it is in the past tense, so it is 2011, 2011, so it is in the past tense. The duration is, the time frame is very clear. And we don't need to specify in person, by telephone, or by email, because you are going to write these things down. In the coming paragraphs, you have you, you have to mention in person, telephone, and by email. So in that particular case, you are not supposed to write that thing in the introduction. And some people will be writing that this number is expressed in this, this x-axis shows this thing, y-axis shows this thing. I don't need that data there. Anyway, you are going to write this thing. So what the horizontal axis shows and what the vertical axis shows, it's not a matter here. So we are going to write that in the body paragraphs. So as far as you are doing that, we don't need to worry about that. And the next is the overview. Immediately after the introduction, we have framed the overview. Overall, it's clear that uh, when in-person and telephone inquiries went up, now when in-person and telephone inquiries went up. So inquiries, yes, these inquiries went up. There was a decline in the number of inquiries via letter or email. So via letter or email, it was declining. There was, so the tense is past there. Now let's see what's there more. As seen in the chart, you can see in the chart, the maximum number of inquiries made to the center was on phone. When in January, This was 800. Yes, which was 200 more than the queries made by email, and 400 more than the information sought in person. Okay, so it's very important to add the time frame there when it happened. So that's what I added there. So when it happened in January 2011, it was not there, I added there. So the data is as per January 2011. Now the next paragraph, from just over 400 in January, the in-person inquiries rocketed to nearly 1,200. 1200, that's 1200, 400 to 1200 within the next 5 months. The next 5 months, it is in rocketing. So if I don't say this as a rocketing, so it is 400 to 1200. So there is something inappropriate, but rocket won't be fluctuating and going, it will be going like this. So I have to change this particular word there. From just over 400 in January, in-person inquiries yeah, I have written another word there, that is shot up to nearly 1200 within the next 5 months. The number of telephonic inquiries stood around 800 till April, and then climbed to 1100 by June. So the number of telephonic inquiries, I have to make a small change here. The number of telephonic inquiries remained nearly 800, nearly, around 800 till April, and then climbed to 1100 by June. You can say that, almost 1100. The next is, there was a decline in the number of people who depended on written inquiries, that is email and letter, that's, we use the brackets there. And this was from 600 to just 200 over the period. So we have framed what happened for the increasing trend here. It is marked. The decreasing trend here, it is marked. The status of January is marked. Overview is here. A clear-cut introduction is here. So simple. It's not a complex line graph. It's quite easy. Hope that's clear to you all.